Well, hey folks, welcome to the 2022 year-end wrap-up. And this year, more than any in the past, has been wild. Not only because of all of the incredible treasures I had the opportunity to find, but also I received my silver YouTube play button, and there's about 50,000 more of you subscribers here than there was last January. I cannot thank you enough for coming back week after week to watch me dig holes in the ground. I'm super thankful for you, and I hope you enjoy some of my favorite treasures I was able to find in 2022. The year of 2022 began in epic fashion with a trip across the Atlantic to France. Invited by YouTuber Chill Bill, I had the opportunity to find the oldest items I've ever found with a metal detector. And in the first 5 minutes of the first day, my mind was completely blown. All right, well, probably hasn't even been 30 seconds. This is my very first target. Not only my first target that I've dug, the first target I got whatsoever, and it appears to be a small copper coin. And I know I'm not going to be able to identify it. So luckily, Chill Bill is here with me.
It's a Dernier, or double tournoir.
A Dernier. Did I say that American enough?
That's fine, that means one.
One.
I think that's going to be a double tournoir, and that will be 1600s.
1600s?
1600s, yeah, even 1500s, but I think that's 1600s. It's mainly 1600s here. 30 seconds, 1600s coin, that's fine.
The first 30 seconds, a coin from the 1600s. Come on. Well, before we even get going anymore, I want to shake your hand.
Hey.
Say thank you
My
for
pleasure.
bringing me here. And
He's going to be bored of 16th century coins in about a day. Because we're here for some time, we're going to go, we're going to find some good stuff.
Cannot wait. This is crazy. As the week progressed, the objects we found got older and older. And on this day, I even found some silver.
So Brad is on fire, which is not surprising because, he does the equivalent of climb mountains with a pack of rocks on his back, and that's what treasure hunting is in America. So when he comes to the promised land, up pops all the treasure, and in his hand is another silver Billon coin from, say, 1400s.
The promised land, I like that. Look at that. Wow.
In England, they'd call that a long cross, but it isn't.
Argent?
Maybe 30%.
30% d'argent?
Yeah,
Oh.
similar.
Silver.
So it's maybe 1400s. Maybe 1400s.
Beautiful, hein?
Yeah, very, very beautiful.
C'est silver. Argent.
Enough silver.
Yeah.
It's enough silver to call that silver, I think.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Hammered silver.
Mm.
Heck yeah. Merci, Bernard, and merci, Chill Bill.
Mon plaisir.
Our final day together in France ended in a way I had dreamed about since I began the hobby of metal detecting, finding something from Roman times. We decided to move off kind of into the adjacent forest, where I like to be, and it didn't take 2 minutes, and I found my first ever Roman coin.
Yay!
And here it is. On one side, it has a building, and on the other side is the bust of a Roman. Do we know which one?
No, I'll be able to identify it for you, probably.
Emperor. We're calling it Bradus Martinus for now.
The great usurper of Chilbilius.
If you had to guess, what would be the date range on this particular coin?
So that I think will be a 3rd century, 230, 250, that sort of.
3rd century, year 200.
Yeah, 250, 280, that sort of time. Maybe could be as late as 320 or something, but I'm expecting it to be around that.
Incredible. Thank you, Chill Bill, for bringing me here and giving me the opportunity to find something like this. Something that most people never find.
Certainly in America.
Certainly in America. After arriving back in the States, it was only a couple short months before Chris and I drove the 13 hours south to North Carolina for Digstock. There, before the event even started, we had the opportunity to detect a Civil War battlefield. So as I learned, March 8th through 10th, 1865, the second to last battle in the American Civil War happened right here. It was the Battle of Wise Fork. The bullets that we're finding today were shot then. Yeah, every time I talk about that, I have to take a second and pause and think about, where these bullets started. And looking around, not exactly sure what it looked like then, but it was this time of year. It would have probably been similar weather, same birds in the trees, same seasonal plants growing around them. Makes today specifically pretty special. Once the event started, we made our way to one of the fields, and I found a beautiful silver love token. So Chris and I have been humming and hawing over here about what this thing is. If it's aluminum, I don't think it's aluminum because I can't bend it. And when you look at this side, it just looks like a silvery colored blank circle, disc. And that's what I thought it was, like a punch out of something aluminum, a cap or something. But then I flipped it over and there are clearly hand engraved letters. Poorly done. They're not centered, but it looks like a J-O. I've never found one, but it's common, or it was common, to kind of flatten off one side of an old coin, an old silver coin, and then engrave something in it, like a love token. I've never seen one flattened on both sides so that there was nothing visible on the other side like this one is. But I'm gonna venture a guess and say that this is a silver love token, unknown date. You can't tell what coin it used to be, but it is quite small, maybe like a half dime. As spring arrived in Vermont, the water levels of our streams and lakes was extremely low and remained low for most of the year. I took advantage of this as many times as I could, and on the first trip to a local lake, I found a very unusual treasure. I just found something here I'm pretty excited about. I don't know what it is. It's either a letter opener or like a hairpin. I'm leaning towards letter opener. Look at that. Are you kidding me? It looks like there's going to be like an image or something on the top. I'm going to go over to the water over here and clean it off, see what we got. All right, hands down my favorite thing I found today. This thing is gorgeous. Look at that. Man. What do you think? Letter opener? Just a beautiful fern pattern. Never really ever considered finding a letter opener metal detecting before. A month later, while metal detecting a very typical Vermont mountain home foundation, I found one of the most unbelievable treasures yet. So unbelievable, even I was skeptical until I was able to get it tested by a professional the following day. Well, I am at a loss for words right now. I just got a target on my metal detector. Let's see, what is it? 82. I thought it was gonna be a button or maybe even a shell casing from a rifle. And it's unbelievable what it might be. This is extremely heavy, and it looks like a gold nugget, which doesn't make any sense. To the best of my knowledge, there's never been any nuggets found in the area of Vermont where I am right now, but it certainly looks like what this is. And I'm in the road. This right here is the road up to a foundation, and then there's a foundation that I'm right next to. I'm wondering if this was dropped, right? Was somebody carrying this as a form of payment and dropped it in the road? It's an interesting find because I'm not sure if I should be excited or not, because I'm not sure if it's actually gold. But if it is, I mean, that's one of the best finds ever for me. Don't know what to say. Lost for words. After spending the first half of the year traveling the world and country, I brought my metal detector to my childhood home, a place where I had never considered treasure may be hiding, but I was pleasantly surprised.
I don't believe it. I don't blame you if you don't believe this, but I just got a target on my metal detector. It was about an 84. I kicked the leaves away to make sure it wasn't like a bottle cap on the surface. I stuck my shovel in right here, you can see, and out flew a little silver coin. I think that it's a little Canadian, what they call fish scale, because I don't really recognize the back, and that's the only other little silver coin I can think of. I don't think it's a trime, but it's about that size. It is minute. Look at this here. Oh no! It's a half dime. I have never found a half dime. I didn't recognize the back from a distance. That is exciting. That's more exciting than a Canadian fish scale. Wow. Never in a million years did I imagine these things are out here. Make a date. It's like 39. I think it's 39. Wow, that's old. Yep, that's what it is. Nearly perfect condition. Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable that it flew out of the ground like that. And my first ever US seeded half dime. Here, of all places. Wish I started this hobby 30 years ago. Man, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Couldn't make it up if I tried.
As the summer heated up into the 90s, I brought my attention back to the lowered water levels of our streams and spent several more days searching in the water. On this trip, I found a surprising old coin in a very surprising place. Well, right up there is where I was finding all of the coins, kind of in that gravel. And I just got a very nice target down here, and it's kind of stuck in the layers of the stone. Let's see what it is here. Turn on my pinpointer, and maybe you can hear from my headphones, there's a target in the 80s, kind of in the layers of stone. So we're gonna get that out together. And would you believe it? I think I see the rim to a silver coin. Ooh, came out easy. Came out easy. Wash it off and we'll look at it together. Are you kidding me? It's a barber dime. Looks like 1892. That is absolutely unbelievable. One dime. You can see it's turned a little bit black from being in the stream, being in the water all this time. Man, right in the stones here. Towards the end of summer, I received an invitation from a viewer named Greg to come out and dig through his late 19th century dump that's on his property. Over the course of 3 visits, we unearthed hundreds of old bottles and a few surprises as well.
Did Greg do it? Did he find a whole crock? That would be something. I mean, it's got to be broken, right? That's why they would have thrown it.
Yeah.
There's no way that thing is unbroken.
It's getting bigger though. Oh,
Here it goes. Do you do the honors? Oh, it is a jug! Unbelievable.
holy smoke.
Wow.
I don't care what Paula says. This is going in the cabinet.
Go. That is wild.
Once nearly all the leaves had fallen, I returned once again to the lowered water levels of a local lake And while on this trip I did find a handful of old silver coins, the most memorable finds were something I had never found before. So I just found something I am incredibly excited about. A minute ago, I found an object which I felt like I recognized it, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. It has a loop down here, and there's a little, maybe it was a tube of some kind, I don't know. Into my junk bag. Rechecked the hole, and I heard another little squeak down there. I dug some more, and I found something I did recognize, and what I'm so excited about. Does anybody recognize that? Maybe you do if you're from the Northeast or Canada. This is a maple sugaring spout. Folks would drill a hole, hammer one of these into it, and the sap would drip out into a bucket that would hang below. That sap would then be boiled down, typically not to syrup. Back in the 17, 18, and early 1900s, they would usually boil it down straight to sugar. And they would use that as their sugar. Sugar was expensive. You had honey and maple syrup, and this was used for that. As was this. I believe this is an older variety. This was a hook. You'd be able to hang a bucket underneath it, and this would go into the tree. These are something I've never found before, unbelievably, here in Vermont. In the mountains, surrounded by sugar maple trees. I've never found taps, but here are two within a span of 5 minutes. Can't believe it. This, for me, is the find of the day, no matter what else we find here. Quintessential Vermont. I'm gonna guess these are late 1800s, early 1900s, and these are, without a doubt, going in a prominent place in my display case. So excited. Sugar maple taps. My metal detecting season of 2022 ended in a place where it all began for me. A clover field where I found my first large cent colonial coin shoe buckle and where I filmed my first YouTube video. I made several trips here in the fall, each time finding even more incredible colonial artifacts, including something I hadn't found here before. So I have something here I'm very excited about. This is pretty awesome. So it's not uncommon whatsoever to find something called saddle shields. What on a saddle is just a little brass adornment. And at first, I thought that was what this is. Maybe you can see here, it looks like an arrow. But I looked at the back, and just to be sure, I sent a photo to a friend who would know. And he relayed back to me my suspicions that based on these loops and the lack of more of a rivet design, which would be on a saddle shield. Based on these designs, this went to a musket, an old musket. This would have been an escutcheon, and he said it was more than likely on a fowler. That is amazing. Now, there were a whole bunch of different parts of these old muskets that were made out of brass. Some of them were made to, accept the ramrod. Some were like a trap door for the musket tools. This, it seems, was just an escutcheon, something to make it look pretty. That is an awesome find, an old musket part. I filmed one more trip to the Cloverfield in 2022, which has yet to be published, but it features my first silver coin found here, as well as an old friend. Well, I think Mike is the good luck charm. Always. Thanks to our mild winter so far, I have been able to get out and find even more treasures for future videos, all of which I am very excited to share. This is another heart-shaped brooch. All right, folks, well, that was 2022 in a nutshell. And typically, this is the part in the video where I show the year's blooper reel. But unfortunately, this year there isn't one. Well, actually, there is one. But it's all from filming the brand new treasure hunting miniseries that Eddie and I have been working on all year and are almost done with. Unfortunately, I can't show you that blooper reel yet because it would spoil parts of the show which we're keeping completely under wraps. So I will end this video with just a short clip of that, as well as reveal the title of the show for the very first time. Thanks again for a wild year, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Going to say, and that brings us to the plan.
Oh, the plan.
The plan.
The plan.
Go ahead.
Say it just like that.
Don't say it like that.
And that brings us to the plan.
Why are you saying it like that?
I just doesn't seem like the optimum way to say it. And that brings us to our plan.
Now you're a man!
That brings us to our plan. So that brings us to our plan.
Why are you saying it like that?
Okay.
That brings us to
The plan.